What kind of moment is this for your team? A chance to go to a championship, first ever time hosting the Western Conference Finals here. What kind of moment is this for this club and this organization in year one of your coaching career?
Yeah, I think it's another moment. Like, I think we were obviously close 2 years ago. Made the playoffs last year, didn't progress. So I think it's, yeah, look, we're happy to be hosting a final, but that's all we're doing is we're hosting a final. There's no God-given right that we're going to win at the weekend, you know. We've given ourselves a really good opportunity, and that's all we've done, you know. But for me, I think as a first-year head coach, I'm really privileged and blessed to be able to work with these players. I hope I have a long coaching career, a lot of learning. But as a first-year head coach, to have these players is really a privilege, and I mean that.
Same question for y'all too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the idea of where we began to now, you know, I always go back to the indie game I've just talked to Ed Reagan, our owner, about it. I think that turned a corner, especially the way Chambo and Allen and the rest of the staff were talking about what they needed to fix going into that game after going 0-5. I think that structure then continued on for that streak of 9-10 unbeaten, whatever it was. And then from there, they've gotten into a period of basically fundamentals, basics, non-negotiables, and now we're here. So all I'm just going to say is I'm super proud of what they were doing. Listening to them talk about football is amazing. They're very intelligent people in regards to our industry. So I think the idea of where these guys are going and the intelligence of what Chambo has shown, especially after that period, is phenomenal. And I honestly think we deserve to be deep in the playoffs now, looking at the roster, looking at the mentality of the roster, and let's see where we go Saturday night.
Hogan, I remember being at the Western Conference Final 2 years ago and speaking with Coach Burke, and I just want to piggyback on your comment about talent. You talked about not only getting guys who are talented, but are winners, who have that winning mentality. I assume a lot of things have changed since then, but I assume that still stayed the same. Talk to me about what, in your mind, makes this group winners.
They're all together. Like, I know that might sound cliche, but the idea of not just the players all together, but the staff and players are all together. The message is always the same. The message is always clear. The message is always in the 90 minutes we're doing X, Y, and Z. And, you know, it's not always going to happen within the 90 minutes, but for 70, 75 minutes, it's happened since that turn. This is the foundation of a winning culture here. And I think where we changed in the off-season, in our discussions, especially myself and the staff, that's the beginning of it. Now we're in it. Now we need to progress, and hopefully we can progress with a winning foundation, with more winners in the locker room at the end of the season.
And just with those winners, starting the year winless, your first 6 games, the bumps, the bruises of this year to now getting to the Western Conference Finals, do you feel like this team is tough mentally and like you have built this culture of a winning soccer club? Yeah,
especially here. I think everyone, you know, I think if you people talk to me separately, people talk to Chambo, separately, or Alan or the rest of the staff, no one wants to come here. There's your answer right there. No one wants to play at the stadium. I think the next step is taking a title home. If it's here on Saturday night, fantastic for the first one. If it's in a year or two, fantastic. But the idea is we're taking this culture and this idea of we are hard to beat and we are very good when we're going forward here and then on the road. Because when we get that right, we're going to be a dominant team in the West. We're not there yet, but hopefully Saturday night we have something to show and progress to the final.
Nick, when you put in all the plans to have this stadium, to Ogie's point about how this place has become one of the most difficult places to go, and you kind of see from your seat, so to speak, what Weidner Field has turned into with the style of play this team has. Is this kind of the vision that you guys all sat down with a few years ago when this stadium opened up?
Certainly, even before we had these fine gentlemen on the squad, the vision, the hope is that we play an entertaining style. And when we did our interviews, when we talked to a lot of people around the league and a lot of coaches, it was our focus, our goal, our hope that the way that that the staff that would be here would want to play aggressive and get after it, and not just sit back defensively, because we're trying to grow a game. And growing a game in a market like Colorado Springs that doesn't have a lot of experience with it is not easy to do, number one. And it would be much more difficult if we played a very boring style. And so it's certainly always been a goal. And so where we're at today, it's from my seat, seeing the evolution of the front office, the team staff. I mean, Chambo was with us in 2021. Hoagie was obviously here. And just to see the progression, I think the creating the culture, but it's not just this year. It's been building and building over the number of years since we opened the stadium.
And Chambo, do you feel like from where you guys were at 2 years ago, I think it was 14 players that you guys have turned over in that amount of time. What about this team makes you feel more confident that they can win this match and get one step further than maybe what you guys were able to do 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think, look, if you're in professional sports, no matter what, everyone wants to win. Like, that's what we're in it for. But, like, what are you willing to do to win? And I think this group has shown numerous ways to win. They've shown a lot of character, a lot of resilience. They've shown loads and loads of traits that put us in a good position to do that and almost lean on what we've gone throughout the whole season. But ultimately, they're willing to do anything to win. They're not just about wanting to win. And that's a big difference for me.
And one player that we're going to talk to, one of the, I believe, 5 that remained from the 2022 team is Matt Mahoney. How important was it to, I'm not trying to embarrass him since he's standing.
He's sitting right over there.
How important was it in your evaluations of turning over this roster, bringing the culture, was to maintain him on that back line?
For sure. Like Mahoney was, I remember talking to Brendan about it when Brendan was pretty much, I don't know if it was signed, but it was nearly there. He called me right away and I was like, get off the phone, I'm calling Matt. So that was one of our first phone calls and that's the beginning of it. So Matt's story is fantastic. He knows the story. We know where he came from. We know what he is. He's perfect for this organization. He's perfect for his captain role as Chambo. The idea of the two of them playing together, the idea of the open and honest conversations that they have. Sometimes it's agreeable, sometimes it's disagreeable, but that's what captain's role is. And he is this foundation. He is the start of this foundation with a lot of players now coming around him. And I think his growth and his willingness to grow in his leadership skills has been phenomenal this year. I've noticed it from behind the scenes now. It's very good to see that he's having a lot more discussions with the staff and with other players about how he's going to lead and what way he has to lead. So, I think I'm not going to blow any more smoke up his ASS, but the idea is, he is the foundation right now with players around him, for sure.
Coach, talk about Las Vegas a little bit. You lost, it's a team that you faced twice this season.
Yeah, I think earlier in the season, obviously we went there, we were on short rest. They come back from an East Coast game. It was a Tuesday night, and I think, if we're being honest, they were probably the better team. And we got out of there late with a goal from Ronaldo, so happy to take the point. And then we went on to New Mexico. I think when we were here, it's so long ago now, we felt we were the better team for the majority of the game, and we probably left 2 points on the table. So I feel like it's been a 50-50 matchup throughout the year. Obviously Vegas have had such a huge turnaround since last year. Fantastic coach, fantastic players, and obviously the ownership group now is trending in the right direction. So we'll have our work cut out for us. Really good footballing team, but so are we.
Don't you always mention being clinical in that final attack in the third? Rose Arena as a goalkeeper, he can make a lot of great saves and keep him alive in the postseason. Talk to me about the challenge he represents and how you guys have to participate in that last third of the game.
Yeah, he was terrific here when we played him. He made a couple of really, really good saves that we would like back. Unfortunately, you don't get that. And then he makes a terrific save in New Mexico last week with his foot. in the first half, which could have turned the tide the other way. So he makes game-changing saves. There's no doubt about that. But so does our goalkeeper, you know. But for us, it's making sure that we test him consistently. So maybe he does pull off 1 or 2 saves, but we're asking him to make 6 or 7. And the more chances we create, the better he has to be. It's very difficult to do that consistently over 90 minutes. So we've got to be really deliberate in the final third and clinical, like you said.
Nick, this is a special moment hosting the conference finals for the first time in club history. What do you think this represents for the people of the city and just the fans that have been with us on the way?
I think it's a huge accomplishment, a huge blessing. To put Colorado Springs on the map in the USL Championship is pretty fantastic. There's been a lot of youth soccer played in the past here in the market, but the professional level in really establishing Colorado Springs as a professional sports market that has a claim in the soccer space, I think is huge. You can't measure it. So we're extremely blessed and super excited for this Saturday, and a huge part of the enjoyment experience is certainly what we have on the field, but the fans in the stands have really been next level. The noise, the energy, the excitement, the connection to the game has really grown, certainly since we've started, but just even this year to see the group of support that we have out there. So this Saturday.
Does anybody else have any more questions for technical staff? Okay. Cool. Well, thank you. Oh, you guys.
Sorry, yeah.
No,
One more, Nick. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I was wondering if there are any plans for either the Western Conference win or even a finals win with the city. Would there be a parade? Would there be some sort of main event or celebration?
Might be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Leave that question.
All right.
We're just sweating for the party.
But even even with what we've accomplished so far, planting the flag, semifinal winner here in Colorado Springs, and on to do more. We're poised, to make a big deal.